Have you ever noticed that a book or a movie will often foretell events, chapters, or scenes before the event actually takes place? This writing mechanic of predicting upcoming events in a story is known as foreshadowing. Classic examples of this are how you see early glimpses of Tyler Durden in Fight Club, or when Professor McGonagall predicts he'll be famous, a legend. I won't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in the future. There will be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name in the first chapter of the Harry Potter series. And as Luke Skywalker sees himself inside of Darth Vader's mask in The Empire Strikes Back. In the story of Abram, after he rescues Lot, we meet a high priest and king of the land of Salem. This man's name is Melchizedek, and the land of Salem is modern-day Jerusalem. The interesting thing about Melchizedek is that Christ is said to be in the same priesthood as Melchizedek. As the writer of Hebrews puts it, when talking about the relationship between Melchizedek and Jesus, where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf, having become a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. For it is witnessed of him, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. This becomes even more evident when another priest arises in the likeness of Melchizedek, who has become a priest, not on the basis of legal requirement concerning bodily descent, but by the power of an indestructible life. There's no doubt that Melchizedek does a lot to inform us about Jesus' role in the Godhead and in relation to the church and mankind. There are three possibilities as to how this is related and what it could mean, though the meaning is generally the same across these three explanations. These three options equate to either a typology, a theophany, or a Christophany. These are probably very unfamiliar words to the uninitiated, but don't worry, I will do my best to explain them in the context of Melchizedek. Typologies are an intentional symbolism pointing to things to come. This would simply mean that in the same way Melchizedek is both high priest and king of Jerusalem, Jesus is currently reigning as high priest and king of believers and will come to reign as high priest and king for all in the coming millennial kingdom. The latter is a subject we will cover much later in our studies. Typologies are seen all throughout Scripture, to include Passover, the specific structure of the temple, and King David, to name a few. Theophanies are defined as a manifestation of deity in sensible form by Britannica. This would generally have the same practical meaning for us today as the typology, but would elevate Melchizedek to the embodiment of God in a physical form. This notion is seemingly upheld by Psalms 110, verse 4, when the writer states, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek." Presuming the forever after is referring to Melchizedek and not just God alone. And finally, Christophanies. In the case of Melchizedek, this is a similar claim to that of the theophany claim, but attributing the physical embodiment to Jesus himself, a type of precarnation before the Gospels. I know that this can be kind of confusing and may not seem too relevant to our belief today, but these ideas will become more relevant to grasp a full understanding of Scripture as we move forward. Whether Melchizedek is a Christophany or a theophany or simply a typology, it is evident that the author of Scripture is doing some foreshadowing here, with the character. Seeing as how we know of Scripture existing before Christ, speaking of Melchizedek and how well Jesus fits the prophecy of the psalmist, it gives an extra bit of evidence to the claim that Jesus is the Messiah mentioned in the Old Testament scriptures. This isn't the first time these methods of foreshadowing are used, but simply the first overtly notable one. I will continue to point out various typologies, theophanies, and Christophanies as we continue our study. These are valuable as they lend further credence to the overall narrative of Scripture. Please continue to follow along with me as we learn more about the vastness and the depth of this loving and all-knowing God. May God keep you and bless you. Really quick, before you go, let me explain why I felt led to start this channel. When talking to Pilate, Jesus said, "I have come into the world to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Pilate responds by asking, "What is the truth?" It's evident that a lot of people are still asking this question almost 2,000 years later. And while we live in an amazing time with the wealth of the world's knowledge available in the palm of our hands, there's often too much information, leaving people unable to process what's true and what's not true. Paul describes such times in this way when he writes his second letter to his disciple Timothy: "Always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth." There are several who expound on what truth is, but often they are misguided, or they are malice in their intent, or they're being intellectually dishonest. My hope is that I am able to provide evidence for why the scriptural narrative is true, a contextual and practical explanation of the principles found in its writings, and a defense for other believers. As Peter explains, you should always be prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect. If you find value in this channel as I do, there are a few ways you can help, both by gifting and without spending any money. First, react and interact with these videos wherever you're watching from. This greatly helps the channel be seen by others and new people. Next, please share this content with others you feel may benefit from the information found here. Also, please subscribe to this channel on all social media. And finally, if you feel led to, and if you have the means to, please consider giving to this channel through the outlets previously mentioned, or the channel's Patreon. All these links are going to be in the video description. Thank you for watching, and may God keep you and bless you.